I'm a software engineer at Dagger, and I'm here to present the latest release that we had a few weeks ago. Yeah, so I just want to talk about the 014, which I self-proclaimed the one with gold inside.
Is it because you built one of the features, or
Exactly. A lot of humility. Yeah, so basically there was a blog post release. I don't know if people on the community watched it or not. If you don't, basically you're in luck. I'm gonna explain it. So the first feature is the Git credential helpers. So Vincent and Thomas have been unlocked on their corporate use case a few months ago because we released the private support via SSH refs. But a lot of corporate environments actually don't allow that. So I think it was one of the most awaited feature. We received a lot of love from the community saying, hey, I've been hacking on Dagger on my spare time. Now I can sneak hitting at work. I can basically, I don't have any blockers. So yeah, if you have some time, I can show you a demo if for people, but basically quite easy. Okay, let's go. I'll go fast.
Yeah,
So
go.
here, so how does it work? Basically here I have my own private Daggerverse, as you can see, with a zip function. And so I'm now capable of using the HTTP ref and basically query the function. So basically I have access to that. How does it work under the hood? Basically, prior the demo, I used the GH CLI, and the GH has a credential helper. So I just basically did this. What does it do under the hood? Inside my Git config, it adds the credentials. So here, for example, for any ref that contains github.com, it's going to request the GH CLI for the auth. And it's that basically most developers have already set up their local Git to authenticate against their corporate repos. So that's the main way. So that's how we seamlessly integrate with your Git CLI. So whenever the engine knows that it's a private repo and it needs to, I need to have access for the credentials, it's going to request your local Git CLI for basically the informations. So that's basically basically it just works. Nice DX. That was our main concern.
Nice.
The second nice thing we shipped is the exit code API. The title I made is basically sometimes tests are expected to fail. So as a joke here, as you can see, an engineer always finds a way. Sometimes in your test suite, you expect to have an exit code other than 0. I'm pretty sure like 95% of the people that would have had this use case would have done something like this. As part of Dagger, we always like to expose nice APIs to have a nice developer experience. So now, basically, you're in control of what an expected failure is. And the way we do that is here. If you see, do you see my cursor? Yeah, you see it, perfect. We added an expect option to say, hey, okay, for this given test, I expect 0, 1, or 2 to be considered a success. And we added another syntactic API, which is the exit code. So here you can run, it's not going to fail. And if the exit code is part of the 0, 1, or 2, I can actually retrieve it and have another logic saying, hey, if my exit code is 1, I can do that. If it's 2, I can do that. But if it's different than those, then the exit code API is going to return an error, and you're going to be able to handle that too. So anyway, all the time, having a nice API to interact with how you want to code your pipeline. You're in control. Okay, OCI annotations. So the title I made for this one is basically your container needs metadata too. Okay, one sec. So finally, you can document who to blame when things break. So I'm not going to explain what to do, but basically we add the annotation to the container. It enhances the traceability, the organizations of images for your infra team, and basically manage metadata across environments. We made sure that basically once you annotate on the export or as an export as a tarball, we preserve them. Yeah, I think always developer experience in mind. The also very nice stuff. So global service host names. So some users had a very, very edge case basically, and the API was not good. I'm going to it's easier to show it on an editor. So here now I have two services, service A, service B. Service A, as you can see, basically is being used inside service B, and service B that is declared basically is being used inside service A, and they also listen on the same port. So before it wasn't like isolated with the host name. We now have added this with host name that enables you to scope it to a host name and be able to query them between each other. So that's a use case that's basically been unlocked recently as part of this release.
Oh, very cool. Because yeah, you used to have to be artificial about the port numbers or things like that to work around. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Now it's the also very nice stuff. Basically, performance improvements. Module init is faster on 3 points. So when basically your modules is fully cached, we are even faster than before. So caching is even faster. When the engine starts with an empty cache, and it has to recompute everything, we also made it faster. And as part of that, basically, there's no more registry lookups. Basically, for locally cached images that are pins with a digest. Basically, like that's technical detail. What's most important is, the performance when using Dagger from scratch or when reusing in my module as a dev loop, because I already have it in the cache, is faster. And we keep iterating on that. But basically, that's one of the first strong setting stone on that. Better disk usage. This one is a big one, I think, too. We always used to take 75% of the total disk size. And now, basically, we changed the policy. We had a lot of complaints around that. So basically, now we use 10%, or we have a minimum of 10% of 10 gigabytes being used for the volumes. So that's basically the same as a Docker desktop. We will never go above 75% of disk usage. And when we hit that threshold, we basically garbage collect everything. And we try to keep 20% of the disk usage free at all times. But we will never go below the reserve storage of 10%. So, for example, one of the use cases I had when developing Dagger in my VM is at some point I dev, and boom, at some point it would crash. Now it doesn't happen anymore. So I'm actually very happy, because as a Dagger engineer, when we take all the space in your disk space, that was a bit painful. Corporate users were complaining, and now we've basically solved it. So I'm quite happy about that one. Metrics in the CLI. So inside the TUI, we add some stats. Actually, I realized that the stats that I'm showing here, the incompress and the size, are actually not the things that I wanted to show you, but it's okay. The idea is basically on a given span, we will show you some more information to help like the developer or the infra team to basically have information on the given step on like, maybe it was slow on this step, why? So basically CPU stats, pressure metrics, they are being shown either in the TUI or in your Dagger Cloud trace. Module spin, here I have an example. Here it's basically someone that installed this Daggerverse module, the GH module from Daggerverse. And when he installed it, he used the main ref. And so basically, when you see the source, it's easy to understand, basically, I installed it with the main ref, the main version, but we also pin the commits. So for example, if I reinstall it in the future, but the commit state of the last, for this given ref is changed, the pin is going to change. So here I can update my install. I'll see that the commit changed, but still the ref is easy to understand.